Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
Back us on Indiegogo.
Dude, I'm just telling you, the dude is unhinged. I don't know what else he can be. He's lost his marbles. Oh, hello, everybody. It is the Dennis and Andy show. Don't mind that little banter we were just having. Just talking about a certain video from last night. Some crazy person just totally losing his marbles.
I almost felt like at the end, I was waiting to have the Incredible Hulk music playing. Do, 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 do. A bag go over the shoulders, and him just walking off into the sunset.
All I know is drinking that much Diet Coke is not healthy. They call it Diet Coke to fool people into thinking, well, it's healthier than regular Coke, but it's not. Drink water, and you might lose a little bit that was going on and all, Anyhow, welcome to the DNA show, Dennis and Andy. We're here today. We have a special guest who we'll bring up in a minute.
Let's say hi to a bunch of the folks that are already in the chat.
That's right.
Because we are early today.
That's right.
So thank you for popping on early with us.
We are early because, well, my daughter works till 5 and Mr. Taxi has to go pick her up. Randy Howell is here, and look at that. Thank you. There you go. There's the link. Val, hello.
Oh, Val was first.
Val was first.
He was number one today.
Genuine Comics, hello. Just talked to you yesterday. Yeah. I sent out an update for Kor-Drath with a few pages 2, 3, and 4 of artwork. So if you back the campaign and don't go back to the page, or if you don't follow me on social media, because I've tweeted them and all that, I sent out an update. Sent out an email blast so you guys can see some of the interior artwork. Maybe anybody sitting on the fence, jump off that fence and go reserve your copy now. Nicholas, hello. Feels like it's been forever since we've seen you. Marcus, top of the afternoon to you.
Must be driving.
That's right. I was about to say top of the morning, but I did not. Tartan Ninja Art, hello. What do we got here? We got... oh, man, my eyesight. Sean Fear Sniley. Hello. Did I say that? I can't. What's that?
You need a bigger monitor.
I do. I need it. Well, we're
just going to get a 32. I mean,
we just need to sit
a
closer,
75-inch right there.
We just need to sit closer. Luke, hello. I hear you. Well, I read you, I should say. I didn't really hear you, but you know what I mean. Well, hello to you. Notice I avoid pronunciations I know I'll screw up.
Just say hello, 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 and welcome.
Hello, welcome everybody to the chat. Welcome to the show. Peter's here, Tarch is here. Just scrolling. Keep them doggies scrolling.
Well, you guys are already in there. I think we hit everybody, and if not, we'll keep posting. And welcome. And we, of course, have a guest. It's been like forever since we've talked to Brian. It feels like it's been years.
It feels like years. It really does.
But it wasn't.
It was less than a week ago.
It was
a week to the day.
It was a week ago. It was
a week to the day, but not the hour, because what was it? What time did we do that last week? Let's ask him. I don't remember.
Let's bring him on.
Bringing on our guest. Hello.
Hello, guys.
There is Brian.
It was 10 p.m.
That's what I thought. I was going to say
PM.
it was 10 p.m. But you're in a different time zone, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Eastern time zone, even though I'm sort of in the middle of the country.
Oh, no. So you're still Eastern like us. So it was 10 p.m. for you.
Yep.
Man, you and your late night hours. Good Lord.
Yep.
I thought for some reason you were pushed over to where you were like 9 o'clock. And it's like, well, 9's not bad. But yeah. So 10 p.m. When the clock strikes 10, it was literally then a week ago we spoke with you on your channel.
That's right. We were talking about your project, and I saw your updates that you were just talking about. I love this the panel with the entrails where Kor-Drath is just raking his axe across that guy's midsection.
Oh yeah. Hey, as I wrote, you wouldn't like him when he's angry. You'll love him.
That's right. I love it when he's angry, because that means there's blood and guts everywhere, and people move out of his way.
That's right. So the only other thing, hold on real quick. I just got this in. I'm going to probably get some of these to put up on the site. I'm going to full screen real quick, Brian, for myself. Look at this. People are like, what is that little thing? It's a little 3-inch First Man. Look at that little 3-inch First Man that you can paint all by yourself, because that would cost more. So I'm going to get a bunch of these and put them on my website for sale. And then you can own a little 3-inch bust of First Man.
Very cool.
For my artwork. So it's like holding a 3D of something I drew. So there you go.
And with the fact that First Man is modeled after me, it's like you're getting a little bit of me there too. Wow, look at he's
nice.
Laughing. He doesn't believe it.
I get so much more than a little bit of you every week. I can barely stand it. So, Jesus.
Oh,
here we go.
So hail to Peter Orchard. Hail to JDA. Good that you're here. And one of the ones you said hello to, Tartan Ninja Art, is my colorist. That's Chris.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. All right.
So since it's the first time that you're on our channel, we always get to ask new guests, how your origin story, like the superhero origin story. How did you get into comics?
My origin would be a supervillain origin. So
that's
make
even
sure you
better.
got that. So yeah, at 7 years old, we were on our way to Florida, and so we're driving from Michigan. Mom hates to fly. So we get in the car and we go to 7-Eleven to get snacks and drinks. And I'm mesmerized by the spinner rack. And my dad sees me looking at everything. He says, we're going to be in the car a long time. Why don't you get a couple? So I bought 2 comics. The very first 2 I ever owned were Amazing Spider-Man number 196, titled Requiem, and Uncanny X-Men number 126, titled How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth.
126. What was on the? I'm more of a visual guy. What do you remember the cover? Because that was still
Yes.
John Byrne.
On the cover of 126 was the X-Men bursting through a wall toward the reader, and it was the coloring was kind of funny. Nightcrawler looked almost purple rather than blue. So
yeah.
But yeah, Storm was at the top.
I'm trying to picture it in my head. The Spider-Man, do you remember who drew it? Oh yeah, I remember that one now. 126. He pulled it up.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
That was Dave Cockrum. That Byrne didn't even draw that cover. It was Cockrum. Okay.
And then I believe it was either Pollard or Andrew who did the Spider-Man cover, and that was Peter standing over Aunt May's grave with a sort of like a phantasmal Spider-Man, like holding his fists like angrily in the background.
Oh, cool.
It was called Requiem, and it was one of his confrontations with Kingpin.
Yep. Nope. We're looking at it right there. That's a good one too. Very nice.
So those two books hooked me on comics since I was 7 years old, and I don't need to tell you how old I am, but that was nearly half a century ago.
But the key question is, do you still own them?
I do, both of the original copies, and I have purchased, upgraded copies in better condition, but I still have the first two I ever bought.
Nice.
See, that's awesome. Love to hear that.
I actually bought a issue, and yes, it's going to sound weird, but I think it's cool. I have the November 1969, because that was the year I was born, issue of Playboy. So
Really?
I bought it like within the past decade. We were at some show and a guy had a bunch of magazines and he had Playboys, and going by a year. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if he has November 69. And he did. And I was like, that is awesome. This is the year I was born. I'm looking at the centerfold going, man, the ladies back then, just right.
Yep.
No, I was waiting for something else.
No. I'm going to keep this as rated G as possible this time.
For Dennis's birthday, I'm going to
the
get him the
60s.
1969 issue of Playgirl. So
I think in the 60s, they weren't waifs. They actually had some curves.
they did. And oh yeah, in the 60s, they had curves. They had it all going on. And it was, Playboy's always, well, I don't know about now, but back then, and even till, the best of times, it was always classy. So.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody assumes that I bought X-Men first because, I went back and completed the whole run of X-Men and all the X titles, but it wasn't. I remember going out and I wound up picking up E-Man #1. And I was like, wow, this just looks really cool. And I got infatuated with E-Man, and it was off of a spinner rack and just like that. And I started going in. I was like, well, hey, these are really cool. So I wound up going back, getting some like old Dennis the Menace, things like that. And then I remember going into my first comic shop. We had one in town, and it was just comics everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. And then that's where I found the X-Men and been hooked on X-Men since '76 up until the last few months.
So
the sad part
was
is
Eclipse Comics, right?
Yeah.
No, E-Man was Charlton.
Oh, Charlton. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The sad part is Dennis wasn't the brightest bulb. So the next month, he wasn't looking for issue 2 of E-Man. He was looking for F-Man. And then he was looking for G-Man and H-Man. And it was like his parents had to tell him, you've missed 3 months of E-Man because it goes 1, 2, 3, Dennis. 1, 2, 3.
The funny thing is, now that you made that joke, I wonder if there isn't an F-Man or a G-Man out there for some indie. I'm going to search that up. So that's going to be a thing this weekend. While we're at the Comic-Con, we are going to be in South Carolina, in Greenville, at the Comic-Con Junior.
I can think of an F-Man. He was on a stream I was watching last night.
He was.
Just totally losing his crap. So anyhow, back to you. So what led you to the path of creating? And because I know you're a writer for your book. And what led you to that?
So after having stopped collecting for a few years, I wanted to get back into it. I picked just a few characters that I wanted to collect, and I decided that I would try to write it. So I wrote a script for She-Hulk. Okay, yep. I love the character. And then I poured over Marvel's site trying to find, how do I submit this for review? And it took quite a while to find. It's in the fine print at the bottom of a page, and basically it says, you don't.
Right.
Basically, it says, you go get published, we'll find you. So then I looked on a site called ZWOL, ZWOL.org. And that site brings together artists and writers and letterers, colorists, etc. And I found a company that said they were looking for someone to write comics for them and help them with their accounting. And I'm like, have we met? Because I've been an accountant for years, an auditor, et cetera, et cetera. So I sent them my sample script of She-Hulk and my resume, and they hired me within a couple of hours.
Really?
I wrote for this company called Affinity Storm Press for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Then I went to another small press company called Red King Press The owner and I did not see eye to eye after a while, and so I decided to go strike out on my own, and Dojo Coon Comics was born.
And I'm sorry, I got to backtrack. What year was this around when you did the She-Hulk sample script?
So that the sample script would have been about 2012.
Oh, okay, 10 years ago. Okay.
And then I did a couple of years with those two indie comics companies. So it was 2014 that I started Dojo Coon Comics.
Well, I will say, and I don't defend Marvel much, but in their defense, when it comes to writing, it's really tough because I don't like their wait, you'll get published, we'll find you. I hate that. But they don't, most companies don't like looking at scripts about their characters, because if they do say, well, you're not quite ready yet, the problem is if a few people looked at it, then down the road, subconsciously, if the editor's like, oh, I got this idea, and then it's like, wait a second, that's based on what I did, that's why they don't like looking at their characters. Now, if you sent a short story or you made up a comic book script, that's a different thing. And I once again, I don't agree with Marvel just being like, oh, we'll find you. Yeah, whatever.
Well, there's another reason that they might do that, Andy, and that's because although writing does take skill, it's not the same skill level as being an artist like you, for example. So they would probably get inundated with people who think they've got the next greatest story. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody, their mom said, hey, this is really sweet, hon. You should, So it's easier to be a writer than an artist.
Sure. So, but that's cool. That's great, actually. How many pages was the script that you wrote? Did you write a full book?
Oh yeah, I wrote a 22-page comic book for them. Yep.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I still have the script. I might just swap in my characters and use it anyway.
I mean, I was going to say you could,
if they didn't use it,
you could swap in your characters. You could, yeah. I mean,
yeah, they sure didn't use it. I've been watching. I've collected She-Hulk since she debuted in 1980. She's had like 2,800 appearances, including some cameo appearances. Like I have Daredevil 298, where she only appeared on a billboard in the background, but that's an appearance, so I collected it.
So then I guess you have the whole run from the 1980s. Like you still have them.
Savage She-Hulk one right up.
Yep. I've got thousands of comic books with her in the book. Or there's even Hawkeye #4 is a miniseries. She appeared just the back of her head at the bottom of the front cover. That's the only, she's not in the book or anything, but she's on the cover, so I have it.
Wow, so you got those wonderful West Coast Avengers issues then.
He has to.
Yep, I got those too, yep.
I remember those.
Wow. So I assuming being that big of a She-Hulk fan, you're watching the current show. And
I don't want to be too critical because after all, they're trying to write it as if it's a comedy.
Right.
I don't think they're succeeding. It's neither a comedy nor canon drama. So I think that if they were to do it as a comedy more skillfully, maybe I would like it for what it's trying to be. But it's falling flat on all cylinders. I'm disappointed.
And I think the problem is too, because I'm really trying to look at it like, well, it's supposed to be a comedy. Because I do laugh at a few things, but the problem is it's more goofy than a comedy. You don't watch Friends or Seinfeld and go, well, that's goofy. No, it was a sitcom. It was a comedy.
You laugh your butt off. You wipe your eyes because you're crying so hard from laughing. That's a comedy. I actually haven't laughed at all. The first episode was okay. I mean, it was setting the stage, the Hulk, getting the interaction. Didn't agree with some of the writing, but it was okay. And then from there, it just kind of nosedived down. And I'm like, well, let's get the comedic aspect into it. You pitched it as a comedy. Where's the comedy? At least what they should do is put in a canned laugh track to show we're supposed to laugh. It's like in the audience, applause.
Yeah.
Because it's not there. I mean, it's
just not.
It's just not at all.
And I don't know what they're going to do.
I'm also a big She-Hulk fan, not like X-Men or, Thor, stuff like that, but it is definitely up there. And she's such a great original character with a phenomenal original origin story that they should have just used, because I don't think it would get much better than what her actual story from the comics would be. I'm just surprised they went in the direction they did.
I agree. Yeah, I think that the fact that they've stated, the rumor is that she's going to be in the Avengers coming up, and I don't know how they're going to fold her into that. Are they going to try to do the fourth wall break, even though she's in the Avengers? I don't know. Now, the fourth wall break, maybe a lot of your viewers know this, but she wasn't the first by any means.
No.
She and Animal Man broke the fourth wall way before Deadpool, but way, way before She-Hulk. Superman would break the fourth wall in the final panel of almost all of his issues decades before She-Hulk. So he would be asked a question, but as they wrap up the comic, maybe Perry White or Lois Lane would ask a question, and he would come back with a witty little quip, but they'd show him look at the reader and wink at us. So he was breaking the fourth wall long ago.
Well, another thing too with the comedic, we'll say, aspects of the TV show is they're not, to me at least, they're not in line with the way Marvel does the comedic aspects in the movies. So it doesn't even feel like it's the same MCU. So back to your point about how they're going to wrap it in, it might be better. I mean, I don't know how they'll do the fourth wall either, but that's also a question for Deadpool when he, when his movie drops with Hugh Jackman and stuff.
Oh, right. Yep.
But in the Avengers, it's kind of like, she could break the fourth wall, but hopefully the writing will be better. So the humor works the way it does in most Marvel movies and not, what they're doing here.
Agreed.
So, but let's talk about your campaign.
I was going to say, we need to look at a campaign.
I appreciate that. So what I'd like to do, guys, if you're okay with it, is I'd like to start off with the trailer.
Of course.
All right.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the Projectile Reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo Kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
All right.
Nice voiceover. That's not you, is it?
No, it's not. In fact, I reached out to the guy who's currently doing the In a World.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I found him on Fiverr. He's surprisingly affordable. So,
no shit, because we all remember that guy, not this one, but the original that obviously passed away.
Right.
And then, they went and wanted to get somebody that could basically, mimic his voice. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's fun to work with too. He's professional and quick, so it was great. As you can see here, guys, I have 65 backers.
Yep.
I'm at 70% of my $5,000 fixed goal, and it says 8 days left. I'm in my second 30, so it's getting down to the wire. Getting a little worried, but still excited, and hope to be able to bring this to the backers' hands, which is one of the reasons I'm here, to hopefully show the book and get people interested.
Sure.
So we've got about a week. Now you can back with confidence, because back in 2021, I crowdfunded Siamese, which was a trade paperback of my first 4 issues of Siamese. It funded within 3 days and fulfilled on time. So, I've been at this a while. Yes, since 2014, I've been publishing comic books. If you go to my website, you'll see that I've got 12 comics published in addition to the crowdfunder. And so this will be my 14th book if it gets done. So yeah, I've been at it a while. And so, let's have a look at the art here. The first cover A, is by Caius. He is a Brazilian artist who is also the interior artist. And he does an homage to an Iron Man annual with this split cover with the Cactus Kid on the left. which is mentioned in the trailer. He becomes the projectile reptile later and transports to modern day Los Angeles. So those are the two scenes there. The second cover, which Bancroft sort of coined the phrase, this is the ass grab cover.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
And as you can see, we're bringing back the gingers. And if you look closely, she's got freckles in all the right places.
Yeah.
Love the gingers.
And then cover C is a limited edition hardcover by Shelby Robertson. So this one here, the number that will be printed will be the number that are backed at the hardcover tier itself, and the number that are backed at the Kitty Hawk tier, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. That will be the overall number. That'll be it. It won't ever be published again with this cover on it. And Shelby revealed on Lord Crackhead's show that this will be the first time his work has ever been on a hardcover. So that's kind of cool too.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Here's some examples of the interior art by Cayuse. We've got the Cactus Kid riding into town. He's having his confrontation with the sheriff here, and the sheriff calls him out. I'm not going to show you what happens there yet.
No. We don't want to do that.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, this one here, this is the big reveal page of where he becomes the projectile reptile. And I figured it would be okay to show that.
Sure.
Because after all, you've seen the covers already all over my campaign, all over my tweets and posts, etc. So, I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like when he first becomes the projectile reptile. And then recently I've added this page, which is also interior art of Black Eagle, Red Hawk, and Kitty Hawk, and how they come to know one another.
Cool. Now, how did you come up? What's the story behind the name for Projectile Reptile?
You know what? Believe it or not, there is a member of the chat who is very well liked because everyone has fun saying his name, and it's Tentacle Pentacle. And I thought, one of the reasons one of my previous campaigns really didn't make it is because people had a very hard time pronouncing the title. It was Toro Uteos, which is the stone lantern in my company's logo. But I had to, pronounce it for people, and particularly people for whom English isn't their first language. It was difficult. So I wanted to come up with a title that was easy to remember, fun to say, and here's what I came up with.
Cool.
For the first 100 backers, and we're already past 50 now, you get, for the first 100 backers of a physical tier, you get a 6 a.m. magnet. And it's about the size of your hand. So it's a substantial size magnet.
Nice.
6 a.m. is known for his work. We have some add-ons here. So Peter Orchard, who is in the chat or did this piece of art. And the colorist on this is Chris Lythwood, who is also in the chat. He's Tartan Ninja Art.
Oh, cool. Okay.
All right. You can add on either of the covers. So if you go with either the catch-up tier with Siamese, which we'll see, or you get the hardcover, you still want to add on one of the soft covers, you can do that. You can add on the digital version. And if you buy the digital version by itself, which I make available for people who are overseas, or actually just people who prefer to have it on their handheld, if you buy it at its digital tier, it's $12. But if you select it as an add-on, that means you're already getting the physical copy. So this becomes just $8 for the add-on.
Oh, nice.
There is a set of chibi stickers by Alex Thompson.
Cute.
Great to work with. If you ask for, like the Cactus Kid, for example, he gives you 6 different poses of that character from which you select which one you like the best.
Nice.
So he did that for all of these. This is the second printing of Siamese by the co-creator of the characters, Cy Lim. So this is the first time this cover will be on the book, and it's a catch-up tier. This tier, when we go up and see it, it's $35, but this book is 128 pages.
So damn.
It's substantial. Yeah, it's got all 4 issues of the comic, plus a bunch of supplemental and behind-the-scenes work.
Do the 2 books have any crossover in any way, shape, or form, or are they 2 distinct universes?
No, I'm glad you asked that. My comic books will all be part of a connected superhero universe. So once Projectile Reptile is transported through time to modern-day Los Angeles, there's actually a cameo of Siamese in that book.
And now you said the cover artist for that is the interior artist as well?
No, Cy Lim created the character. He's co-creator, but the interior art on issues 1 and 2 was Mike Salter, who's a fine art portrait painter. And
Oh.
then issues 3 and 4 were Zilson Costa, also out of Brazil.
Okay, cool.
And there's a mint tin game that you can add on. And
What's
this here,
that?
obviously, it comes in a
That
mint
intrigues
tin.
me.
What's that?
That intrigues me. I like it, like game stuff. So what's that all about?
So this here is, these are the card sets. They were, the cards themselves were designed by Rusty Gilligan, known as Rusty Inc. And he's the creator of Mac and Trouble. And I designed the game mechanics. Basically, there's stats on all of these cards, and you combine the stats on the card with a roll of the dice to determine if it's sort of like a game of war. You lay down your card, you look at the stats, you add them up, and then you do the dice roll and then determine if your character beat your opponents.
Oh, that's cool.
There is an all-foil ash can titled Bog, and this is an alien plant menace. And the artist on this one, Bog, is the artist of issues 1 and 2 of Siamese. So he came back to me. He had to step away from Siamese because he was asked to do a portrait of someone's recently deceased son. So I was like, oh, totally understand why you need to step away. That's your bread and butter. I mean, that's what you do for a living. So he spent a lot of time on that. But he came back and said, I'd really like to work with you again. What have you got? So I showed him Bog, and he's excited to get this one.
That's cool.
Now, I do have some stretch goals, but I don't have any numbers there because first I want to get to funded before I start saying, what the stretch goals are. If I do start hitting, funding, then I'll put the first stretch goal out there and we'll see, because the reason for a stretch goal obviously is to give people incentive to get you to the next number. So that's why I don't have numbers assigned yet, but I do have a metal trading card. I'll have an additional 8 pages that I'll add to Projectile Reptile featuring Dr. Primordial, one of my characters. I'll have a acrylic standee if we get there. Oh. Eric Hutful's put together a Keshi for me. So hopefully we'll get to there. And then, reaching way out there, if we get far enough, we'll have a challenge coin. Now, this one here is the example of the challenge coin that was featured with Siamese. But this gives you a look at the quality that this company does. And the coins are substantial. I mean, it's heavy. It's a big coin. Sure. So I'd love to be able to provide that on this campaign too. The creative team, I'm the writer. Caius is the artist. Chris, the colorist. The always busy Eric Weathers as the letterer. and I this time around, I actually took the advice of a lot of folks and hired an editor. Steve Ferguson and I have been friends for years, but he also edited a tech magazine and some church bulletins, all that. So he's been an editor for a while and a comic fan. What I did was I asked him, go through this comic first as just a fan. Like, do you think it would be fun to read? And then go back in and say, well, you know what? You went from this to this without any explanation. I think that you need to clarify. So, he took 2 passes at it and provided some great input.
Oh, that's cool. It does help. I mean, we're working with a buddy of mine who's kind of like the editor on it. And it makes a big difference.
It does.
Yep. Having been a writer for as long as I have, I thought I had it down pat, but his input was invaluable and made some great points. So it's been changed to reflect that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with you're so intimate with the story, everything. So sometimes your brain fills in gaps that just aren't there that the reader needs to pick up on.
Absolutely. And also, too, he pointed out one flaw in the character's voice. And what I mean by that is at the beginning of the book, the Cactus Kid went from sounding kind of down-home, Old West folksy to very, very articulate. And he said, either one is fine, but you need to pick one.
Because... Brian, this is a little-known fact about me, but I used to give Hillary Clinton advice. And I told her the same thing. I said, look, you either need to talk like a black woman like you did at that one speech when you were down south with your little hot sauce in your purse, or you need to talk like you're uppity New Yorker. But you got to pick one, Hillary. And, she didn't listen. So I was like, I'm out. I can't deal with you anymore. You're just crazy as it is. So.
Right.
Yeah. So it's true. I get it. That makes a big difference.
So
all right, let's go through the tiers.
Yeah, here are the tiers. The Kitty Hawk tier is the feature tier. It's the whole kitten caboodle. Get it? See what I did there? Yeah. So with this one, you get all 3 covers. And this is what I was saying. This is one of the numbers that'll be added. Like if you get the Kitty Hawk tier, you'll get the Shelby Robertson limited edition hardcover. So that
Sweet.
number will be included. You get the stickers, the mint tin game, the all foil ash can, the digital copy, and the catch-up tier with Kitty, the Siamese, I mean.
Yeah.
There's the digital tier, which I covered at $12. The two regular covers, the cover A by Cayuse and cover B by Renzo Rodriguez. The catch-up tier with Siamese, the trade paperback, falls in between because this, Indiegogo puts it in dollar value order. So,
Oh, yeah.
This one comes up next. Again, this is 128 pages. Oh, I didn't mention it. Projectile Reptile is 48 pages.
Okay, cool.
Unless we reach the stretch goal that includes another 8 pages with Dr. Primordial. So there's a chance that it'll be 56.
Right.
And then the top tier that's not the Kitty Hawk is the Shelby Robertson hardcover.
Cool.
So there's only 9 claim. There's still plenty. So if you'd like to get that, don't miss out. Grab the Shelby Robertson cover. Now, the Shelby Robertson cover, it says 9 there, but there's also, the Kitty Hawk tier has been purchased. I know it says 0 claimed, but the number of them that have been purchased is sort of masked because a lot of people purchased it with the secret tier, the secret discount tier.
Yep. And then they don't show up. Yep.
Oh, I know exactly, or I should say we know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
I wish that Indiegogo would do something about that. I just got a survey from them asking in what way would I like to see their site improved, and I made sure that was one of the things I cited as a possible improvement.
it is weird because, like, I had a friend of mine ask about, my campaign, and he's looking at it, and he's like, I don't get it. When I add up all the people that backed it and then divide it into your total, it's like, what? I don't. And I said, dude, you don't see the add-ons. You don't see secret tiers. You just see, basically, you're just going through the different tiers and doing simple math, going, well, there are 3 of these or 10 of these or, whatever. But I say you don't take into account secret tiers, which I sent out a bunch. And then there's the add-ons and stuff like that. So that's
exactly
how it happens. So,
yep.
Yeah. Guys, I mean, have you refreshed?
No, I haven't. Let's give that a try.
We'll see if we know at least one was purchased. We saw the DNA bump.
68 backers. That's great, guys. We got 3 more backers. Fantastic.
There you go.
We're up to 74% now. Thank you so much to those that backed. I truly
Cool.
appreciate
So, I
it.
mean, you're only like 1,200 and change away from doing it. Was it 1,252?
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't think I could do that math, did you?
It's called 62. But...
62 is what I said, Dennis. I said 1,262.
Oh, did you?
Do you have shit in your ears again?
Because it's 72.
It's 72, Dennis. Like I said, it's 1272.
So there's a reason why when they applied, said, I need a person that can do comic books and accounting. You said, nope, and I walked away.
That's not fair. Well, it's hard to see your screen, too. It's all blurry and stuff.
Yeah, it's blurry.
That's what it is. I got to get this prescription.
Oh, Randy said he got the grab ass cover. Of course.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. What else are you going to get?
Love the
Thanks
Renzo
very
cover.
much,
Yeah.
Randy, and other backers. Really appreciate it. So, yeah,
Randy
go
Howell,
out and
thank
back
you.
this for sure. Anything else you want to talk about on it? Or we could talk about a few other things for a few minutes that we have left. It's up to you.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I think I covered it well. I would like to direct some people to my website, which is dojocooncomics.com. You can order my previous books. They're print to order. So they will send those out to you, the floppies of these of my comic books.
Hold on. I'm just adding that link in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So I just added that. Well, there you go. We got a few minutes left. We could always talk about that shit show of Mark Brooks on with Well Read last night. That was I tell you, I woke up this morning. I went to bed early because I was up late the night before and I was just beat tired. My wife's out of town and I was just like, I'm crashing. It's 10:30. I wake up this morning. I always look through YouTube, people I subscribe to. And I see that and I'm like, what is this all about? So I watched it because it was only an hour and 20 minutes. So I watched it and I'm just like, dude is unhinged. I mean, and I'm not just like trying to stir the pot or anything. I mean, seriously, I was like, you know, I can't see his tweets anymore because he blocked me just by asking a simple question back to him, which just really cracks me up. And that's a whole other thing. He basically took a pot shot at the quality of books that, you know, CG as a whole put out. And and this was months ago. And I basically said, well, could you cite some specific examples?
Right.
And then I got blocked. So, okay, I guess conversation is not going to happen.
You know, the moderator at least tried to do a good job in the beginning saying, well, why are you lumping everybody in CG together? You've automatically lumped, because you've got a beef with two people in particular, you've now lumped every other person that either purchases it or creates it all in with the same thing. And I'm like, could you get a bigger wide stroke and just piss that many people off? Well, he successfully did.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's interesting about people like that is, I mean, in a group like Comicsgate, there's literally thousands of us. So you're bound to find people that you don't agree with here and there about some topics. And, you know, that's true. There are some people in CG I don't agree with all the time, but overall, the group is so far from being a hate group. I can't believe anybody would even think that. And Brooks is just drinking the Kool-Aid, parroting the narrative. I honestly, you know, this is going to sound bad coming from me, but I actually do like his art. A lot of people say that it's just pinup art. He's no good as far as an interior artist. That part I don't know, but I do like his covers. But now that I see them, I'm reminded of all of the things he's done and said, and it leaves a sour taste. It's like you really ought to stay as neutral as you can if you're trying to be a creator and get your book out there, because if you don't, you're going to polarize potentially half of your audience.
Well, and the thing too is, he does have a habit of inserting himself into the conversation or the narrative. And look, I can remember before I was blocked where just unprovoked, I guess you would say, he would just tweet something out, right?
Yes.
And you're just like, you just kind of sit there and go, why? What were you going to gain from tweeting this or Facebook? And it's mostly through Twitter, but you know, tweeting it like,
but it's interjecting into somebody else's conversation that he's got no skin in the game on in the first place.
Right. So just move on. You know, I don't dwell on things that I guess, for lack of a better word, I disagree with. I just don't dwell on it. I've got enough stuff going on in my life, whether it's work, family, friends, whatever, that why am I going to dwell on, you know, oh my God, I don't like, you know, and I'll just say this because I know, you know, Dennis will get a chuckle out of it. I love football. I'm not even going to say the Packers because as much shit as I give them, I don't hate the Packers. But let's say there's a football team I really hated, right?
The Washington the New York Giants.
The New York Giants, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I really hate the New York Giants or any team in the NFC East because I'm a Dallas fan. I don't freaking dwell on them 24 hours a day. I don't go and tweet stuff about them. You know, I don't care. You know,
I think he's just chasing clout. I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to stir the pot to get people to say, yeah, I'm mad too.
Right.
You know,
he said he was drinking the Kool-Aid. He's not. He's actually opening the packet, pouring it in, putting the sugar in, and then stirring the entire thing before he drinks it. But Hojo is right. It says, you know, when someone is obsessed with someone else, when someone mentions the individual and freak out and their voice cracks. And I mean, I couldn't believe how long it went on. And then when Ethan actually popped on the stream, I mean, theirs went to 11. I mean, it was just instant when he saw him. And Ethan was like, hello, Mark. How are you? And Mark's like, ah! And I was like, whoa, holy crap. You literally hulked out. And Ethan started out at least by being very polite.
Well, you know what it reminded me of, too? I don't know, Brian, if you're married, have kids, or what your situation is. I have a kid. I mean, she's 19 now. Dennis has two grown children. But when you think back when they were young and they would, like, maybe from school, freak out about somebody. And if you brought that kid's name up, and they would just freak out and go nuts, right? And you're just like, that's what I saw last night coming out of Mark. And I'm like, that's the stuff I would literally talk to my daughter about and be like, they're nothing to you. You don't like this person. That's fine. I don't know why you don't, or maybe she told me, whatever. Point is, I'm like, if you don't like the person, don't interact with them at school. Don't talk to them. If they're in your class, you stay on your side of the room, just ignore them and go about your business. There's no reason to get worked up over somebody else, because only you can control your feelings. And if you're getting worked up over it, they're not making you worked up. You're working yourself up. You know what I mean? If Dennis does something, or it's somebody you really care about, that's the other thing too, is like, you know, I'll get really obsessed, I guess, or worked up over something, say my wife or daughter do, because I really care about them and I don't want to see them, you know, make a mistake or whatever, right? And you do that with people you really care about. So who knows? Maybe Mark loves Ethan. I mean, I don't know. But the whole bullshit about, oh, well, I don't want to talk, I'll just fight. I'm just like, what are you, 5?
So if anybody walks up and is apparently from CG, it was exactly what he said, and they walk up to you, oh, I'm going to assume you're going to throw down, so what, I'm going to throw the first punch? So you literally you're saying, I am going to incite violence at New York Comic Con. I mean, I'm just like, I can't believe this is real and this isn't some spoof that we're watching, because it's insane.
It sounds very sophomoric. It sounds like junior high at best. I don't understand his stance that he wants to. Actually, he reminds me of another person in the indie comic realm that just wants to go to fisticuffs, you know.
Right.
It's like, come on, really?
Yeah, I know. This is so Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. It's so 90210. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so I thought he came across really immature, really well. Before Ethan came on, he was really talking down to the host, like, oh, I'm better than you. And, you know, and I do take issue with it was sarcasm. Look, dude, there are specific ways that you can write stuff, and, you know, whether it be a tweet, a short sentence, to get across sarcasm. There really are, but it is tough because it's the written word. So I'll be honest, when he said, you know, talking about the whole Gabe thing, and he's like, come by my booth, I'm here, I'll be glad to sign a few books for you. Now, I didn't really take that as a slap on the knee joke, but I didn't really take it as full-blown sarcasm. I guess I took the sign a few books for you as sarcasm, but hey, come by the booth. Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, all Gabe did was say, look, I just want to talk to you. You know, you're crapping on friends of mine. You're crapping on a community I'm a part of, and I'm just not down with that. Let's have a talk about it. And now Mark's going off on, you know, oh, I take MMA once a week and I've been fighting since I was a kid and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, whatever. And it's like, if I see you, I expect one thing. And it's like, okay, you're going to throw the first punch. That's not smart. So it's just, it was a lot of bloviating.
Yes.
And a lot of circle talk too, because if you actually, I went and I watched Ethan's stream last night afterwards, and that's where I was kicking myself because, you know, I'm just not a late night guy. And, you know, when Ethan did that, he posted the link, and if I was awake and saw it, I could have joined. And that's where I was like, darn it. But I did watch it, and yeah, watching it 2 times, you know, the first time, not live, but on the guy's channel, Well Red's channel, and then watching the second time where you could kind of dissect it more, and you're like, well, you don't want that, but you just said you'll do that. So which is it, you know? And it was just a lot of circle talk. So
again, you got to pick one.
Right. Pick a lane.
Matt Barr said they should have just had a dance off, you know? And so, by the way, we will have to do the dance off to end the show tonight.
Oh,
we of course we'll show you guys a real dance off tonight.
Oh, for this?
But yeah, yeah. So they'll, but I kind of agree with that. I'm just like, it was amazing. They couldn't even civilly talk, and Mark I've just never seen anybody that unhinged, and it was stunning. It was if I'm sitting there and I'm an investor at Marvel and I'm going, yeah, that's a guy that you're regularly doing, I'd be like, yeah, we need to have a talk with the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I couldn't get behind that. So anyhow, those are a few cents on it. We do have to get going because, like I said, I got to pick my daughter up from work. Brian, thank you for coming on.
Oh, hey, thanks for the opportunity to show this on your show. Appreciate it.
Definitely. Just, I'm not a genius when it comes to the crowdfunding thing. I'm new at it too. Just get out there and just, tweet it, Facebook it, Instagram
Randy wants to know if you got your Quasar cover.
Oh, actually, real quick, it wasn't a cover. I was mistaken. It was a page.
He did get it though.
I did get it back from Dave Johnson, and his got delivered yesterday because I got a delivery notification. Hold on, I'm going to full screen real fast. So I thought I traded Dave a cover, but I traded him a story page from Quasar, and it's from Quasar number 48, page 7. So I don't know how clear that is, but wait, let me remove the comment, Randy. So so this was done about 28 years ago or so, 28, 29 years ago, something like that. It was the page I traded to Dave Johnson for his Super Patriot page featuring Die Hard. I got it in the mail last week. Priority mail, he sent it. I opened the box gently, took my page out. It was in plastic. I put his page in the plastic, relabeled it, and sent it off. So there you go. I did get it back. And, it was a fond memory. Oops. Hey, look, it's Brian, full screen.
Hail.
All right, hold on. Now I'm doing it to myself. There we go. So guys, thank you for joining us. Please go check out Brian's campaign. The link is in the description below. It looks like a really fun project. It's different.
The tin game looks pretty cool.
Oh, I knew he loved that. He's a big game guy. So go check it out. I know we should do late night with Dennis and Andy. The problem is
it's late.
It's late.
We're morning people. I'm up by 5 every morning, so I can't be up like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
I go to bed at like 10:30 generally. It's my pencils, and Ralph Cabrera was the inker I was working with at the time. So thank you for asking. What's this last comment? Even before that, he came after Ethan. EVS quote tweeted him. He said, yeah, of course he did. He starts it. He plays the victim, and then, he's going to work himself out. He probably has an ulcer. Who knows? So anyhow, guys, thank you. We'll be back next Wednesday, if not before. And
tonight we'll be on Reni's channel. Yeah. So 8 o'clock our time. So Eastern time will be on her channel. So if you want to chat with us tonight, you'll get another opportunity, which is late night for me.
Yeah. After their show, 10 o'clock tonight, Mandy Summers will be on the Dojo Kun Shill Shack.
That's right. I saw that too.
Nice. All right. So what? 10 o'clock. Oh.
Nice. All right, everybody. Got to go get my kid.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
It's a dancer.
Well, hey, everybody. This is Andy. I'm with my buddy Dennis, and we are bringing you Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. Dennis and I created this for guys that like barbarian, badass, barbarism, bombastic, ballsy action. Trying to get all the B words in. Kor-Drath is a book that we're taking the coolest parts of Conan and going, yeah, that's cool. We're going higher. Let me show you some of the tiers real quick. And while I'm doing that, afterwards, I should say, Dennis will go over some story stuff. You got the Get It All, where you can get every cover and the oversized artist edition, which shows my black and white art scanned in full color, so you can feel like you're holding originals in your hands. And then, of course, every individual cover you can get separately or as add-ons. That's my main cover, colored by Dan Lawless. Dennis, tell them a little bit about the book. Why keep scrolling, and you guys can just look at this stuff. Link, of course, is in the description.
Look, we're focusing on instead of this big world, we're focusing on one narrow area, the Mirador Mountains, and there's 11 tribes, and we're going to be having an incredible story based around 3 of them. And if you're a fan of Conan and you like blood and guts, you like sword and sorcery, you played Dungeons and Dragons, or you played Pathfinder or other role-playing games, you love that type of feel, this is definitely a book for you. It's going to have everything from incredible battle scenes, in-depth story, all the way to just fantastic magic. And yeah, I think you guys are going to love this project.
There you go. Thanks, Dennis. And first stretch goal unlocked, Kor-Drath character card, 7x10, heavy stock paper. On the back, his stats are SRD 5E compatible, so you can play Kor-Drath in your game. Dennis mentioned brutal battles. Here's a look at the art to a 2-page spread, pages 2 and 3. So we kick off with action in the book right here. This is pages 2 and 3 in beautiful black and white. Of course, it's going to be colored. So guys, go check out Kor-Drath, The Reckoning now. The link is in the description below. Thank you for joining us. Always like and subscribe to our channels, and we'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys, and go back Kor-Drath. Bye-bye, everybody.